Hello freaks, geeks, degenerates and basement dwellers, welcome to the war zone. I'm Scruffy and this is Scruffy Tales, and in this video we will take a look at some of the Swedish military equipment that is currently crushing the Russian army down in Ukraine. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at this. Apotea, a Swedish pharmacy company. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but they have an awesome project where they are putting together super crucial trauma kit bags for frontline medics to be used on the front line the moment a Ukrainian soldier gets wounded. They've so far provided Ukraine with well over 1,000 of them. And here's the thing. They have received feedback from Ukraine, from the front line, and each one of these bags on average will save 7 Ukrainian lives. And we can all help out. Links down below. We can donate money to Apotea and help them fund putting together these bags. So if you donate $2, $5, you will have helped to put together a bag that in the end will save on average 7 Ukrainian lives on the front line. If you can't get the Apotea site to work, if you find if it's you can't navigate a Swedish site, then I offer the option that you can donate money to Apotea via my Patreon. So go to my Patreon, donate money to my Patreon, and then I will forward it for you to Apotea if you trust a random stranger online, that is, to handle your money. So yeah, this is of course super crucial, and please consider it. This has an actual impact on the front line down in Ukraine. And here we go. First out is the Swedish main battle tank, the Strv 122, a modified Leopard 2A5 with increased armor, especially top armor is what sets this thing apart from other tanks. Sweden in the early 90s realized that top attacks was the thing of the future, so Sweden added a whole bunch of armor, and in particular top armor, through their new tank, and that has proven to be a genius addition to this tank, serving in Ukraine with all the drones flying in from above. And as the Ukrainian crews themselves have reported on, that in 2 years' time they have only lost 1 crew member in these tanks. They are that sturdy, they can take that amount of punishment, and the crew will survive. And they have survived everything in the Russian arsenal. Every year Russia claims they've destroyed all 10 of these tanks. Only 1 has been confirmed truly destroyed, because Ukraine keeps retrieving them, repairing them, and sending them back into the fight. And they have been hit by missiles, by drones, mines, enemy tanks, everything, and they just keep on surviving and keep on fighting. And we're moving on to a true armored beast in Ukraine, the CV-90 Charlie, the Swedish infantry fighting vehicle with the powerful 40mm autocannon. This thing can fire 5 rounds per second. It can destroy a Russian tank at up to 2 kilometers with this gun. It's that powerful. It has survived multiple drone hits throughout the war, and hardly any casualties among the crew, according to Ukrainian accounts. And on top of that, this thing is much faster off-road than a Bradley, as we've seen when they've been pitted these vehicles against each other in various YouTube videos. This thing is a beast. It can traverse across any type of terrain. It can engage any targets, and the Russians have even been known to deploy 2 or 3 tanks to counter a single CV-90 when they have appeared on the battlefield. The Russians fear this thing that much that they actually deploy multiple tanks to engage a single CV-90. This is a true armored beast serving in the Ukrainian army. We move on to the Archer artillery system. Ukraine is currently, I believe, operating around 26 of them. What makes this vehicle astounding is that you only need one crew to operate this thing, and he doesn't even have to leave the forward compartment. He can sit within the vehicle, fully protected by the armor, and just operate it using electronics. And it's a fast firing vehicle. It can deploy, fire 3 rounds, and be on the move again in 1 minute. I mean, that is just astounding if you compare it to other howitzers used in this war. And according to Ukrainian sources, these things took part in the Kursk operation, and there, in one particular engagement, 3 archers destroyed 18 Russian tanks in a single battle. The Russians deployed 18 tanks in a huge column, and they were steamrolling towards Ukrainian positions, and 3 archers were deployed and took out 18 Russian tanks in this one engagement. That is quite astounding, and a testament to how deadly and accurate these howitzers are. And here we have the real old school infantry fighting vehicle from Sweden, the PBV 302, in service before the CV90 came along, and Sweden donated 200 of them to Ukraine. And the Ukrainians have praised this very old vehicle from the early 60s for being easy to use, easy to repair, and that it can traverse any type of terrain with ease. And according to the Ukrainians, this old PBV 302 outclasses any BMP in the Russian army. And we also have video footage of one PBV driving like crazy across a field, being hunted by Russian drones and surviving 4 drone hits, 4 or 5 drone hits. And remember, in this war we have seen a single drone destroying Russian tanks left and right, and we have video evidence of a single PBV taking 4 drone hits, and yes, it keeps on trucking. So this is an old school assault vehicle that took part in the Kursk incursion towards the end of the operation, and it has earned a reputation for being a trusted armored vehicle that will help bring in supplies when needed and can rotate troops out of combat when required. Moving on to a weapon we don't know all that much about concerning Ukraine, at least, and that is the Swedish missile RBS-15 anti-ship missile. We have only seen some videos of this thing being launched from a truck, and apparently it was used against an oil rig that the Russians had modified into being a radar station, essentially, and the Ukrainians used this missile to take out that radar outpost out in the sea, and that allowed a day or two later a full swarm of Ukrainian drones and missiles to move in and strike Sevastopol in Crimea, and a couple of days later they struck the Russian shoreline further east in the Black Sea, where you had a bunch of the Russian cargo ships and oil refineries. So the RBS-15, as far as we know, was used to crack open the Russian defenses, which allowed Ukrainian drones to swarm in and hit multiple vital targets in and around the Black Sea. And that's basically all we know so far about the RBS-15 in Ukrainian service. And we're gonna get this out of the way real quick. YouTubers gotta YouTube. Like, share, subscribe if you want to support the channel, or if you feel like it, why not become a community member, or maybe even buying me a coffee. Links down below if you feel like it. But please like, share, subscribe, and share the video all over Discord, and it would help the channel a lot. Thank you. And with that out of the way, we're moving on to some aircraft. Here you have the Saab 340 aerial early warning and control aircraft. It has a big radar on top with a 400-kilometer range. And Ukraine has two of them from Sweden, and it allows Ukraine to keep track of hundreds, if not thousands, of aerial targets moving in Russia, trying to enter into Ukraine. And potentially, this aircraft scored a kill within Russia as an F-16 launched a missile at a Russian Su-35, and then the Saab aircraft allowed the missile to guide itself onto the target, and the Russians didn't know it was coming, and then the missile struck and took out the Su-35 thanks to this Saab 340 allowing the F-16 to get in close and then potentially guiding the missile onto target. And not yet in service in Ukraine, but will more than likely fly in Ukraine sometime in 2026. The Saab 39 JAS Gripen fighter jet, a multi-role fighter designed to do anything. It can refuel and rearm in 10 minutes with a crew of 6 and be back in the fight in no time at all, landing on ordinary highways during winter out in the woods. Famous for having highly advanced electronic warfare systems that it's not stealth, but the electronic warfare system is so advanced that it, basically almost makes it stealth. You can't really lock onto this thing like you would a normal aircraft. But what it well and truly will more than anything provide to Ukraine is the ability to launch Meteor missiles, potentially the world's most advanced air-to-air missile on the market. And combined with the Saab 340 early warning and control aircraft, Gripen and that radar could then begin to well and truly hunt down Russian bombers using the Meteors and taking them out long before they are within range to drop those glide bombs onto Ukrainian targets on the ground. So this thing could actually be a real game changer once it starts flying for Ukraine. And speaking of game changers, we are gonna finish off here with the RB-57, also known as the NLAW shoulder-mounted anti-tank weapon. The British provided Ukraine with a bunch of them, designed and built in Sweden. And in 2022, when the war kicked off, the NLAW took out 1/3 of all destroyed Russian tanks in the first 6 months of the war. And officially it has a 90% hit rate in Ukraine. Talk about game changer. Ordinary soldier with the ability to destroy the most heavily armored tanks you can come across. And it of course works on the principle of a top attack. It flies in above the enemy target and opens fire from above, penetrating the armor where it is weakest. And what a success story. 1/3 of all destroyed Russian tanks in the first 6 months of the war were taken out by a lone soldier operating on NLAW. And well, if this did not help save Ukraine, I don't know what did. When you take a look at Western support early on in the war, this is a massive success story, and the NLAW well and truly helped save Ukraine in 2022. And did I miss anything? Did I forget anything? I'm sure I've forgotten some things. Sweden has provided Ukraine with a whole bunch of equipment. So if I forgot anything, leave a comment down below and remind me. Maybe I'll have to add it to the next video dealing with Swedish support. In the meantime, do check out the links to Apotea. It is extremely important. And with that said, gå på marsch Ukraine and give them hell.
Oh, you old and you're free, you mountainous north, you who sit on a throne made from memories of distant and glorious days. Land of the midnight sun, land of the endless night, home to a people who will never surrender, who will always carry on the fight till Valhalla. This is our home where we were born, where we will die. Here where we believe in freedom for one and all. Here are welcome. This is our creed, our soul, our call. For all men and women, united with pride, we stand tall till Valhalla. Ancient forests, snowy mountains, and icy winds, home to warriors and soldiers that defied all the odds, that defied mighty armies and all the cruel gods. Heed our war cry, centuries old, Gopalmarsh, onward to victory we charge. Gopalmarsh. Land of freedom, land of courage, where the mighty Bofors was forged, where the powerful Carl Gustav first roared, where furious dragons guard in the sky, where fearless griffins now proudly fly, where modern warfare was in battle born, when kings and soldiers alike were slain and torn. Land of the midnight sun, land of the endless night, till Valhalla. In our lands, the enemy will find nothing but ash and blood. Let free kriget begin. We will fight through the ice, fire, and mud, as our banners burn and fall and hit the ground. This is when our war cry will with a mighty thunder sound. Sound Valhalla. From the age of long ships and shield walls, when we set sail to raid